Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 2 here at Runeterra Academy. As usual, we're starting off Friday night. It's freshman night tonight, bringing you Shogun 2077 versus Big Duck Entourage Druids. My name is Tajgar, or Taj for short, joined on the desk by the wonderful Cam Com. How are you feeling about tonight's matchup, Cam?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for that fantastic interview there, Taj. Yes, I'm Cam Com. I am joining you from sophomore league here as a
Ooh.
substitute for your other color caster here tonight. Like you're saying, we've got 2077 versus BDED. Shogun is on a mountain, so we do have BDE on ocean as well. So that's our houses for tonight. We do have at least it's not the same house, not quite yet.
Yeah, where my mountain gangers at? I'm Team Mountain myself, so I definitely won't be rooting for Shogun tonight. Some quick insights before we hop into Champ Select. Thanks to keep an eye on tonight, or I suppose not exactly before we head in, because I believe we are starting Champ Select very soon, or as I speak. So, tonight may be a jungle def, like in the legitimate sense of the word. Checking on stats from last week, Church of Aesol, or Aesol, that being Aurelian Soul, for you people of culture out there, the jungler for the side of the Druids was jungler of the week, player of the week in the jungle last week, and is also currently the highest rated jungler in the freshman league. But the runner up for highest rating is Tafiki Jr., the jungler for the side of Shogun. So definitely keep your eyes on the jungle positions tonight. And now we turn our eyes to Champ Select.
Yeah, you've got the first rated jungler versus the second rated jungler. If there was going to be a matchup that was going to be focused on jungle, it's going to be this one. And we've gone through all the bans so far, and that's a B1 Trundle there for Shogun.
That it is. Trundle actually the most banned champion so far this season, sitting at 36.84% ban rate. But now the question is, are we going to see that go to jungle? Or are we going to see what has been popping up recently, maybe a Trundle support? How are the, did you see any Trundle picks in sophomore last week, Cam?
Mumu. No, usually Trundle, I would think, is picked more as a Xin counter. You only B1 it if you think the enemy team is a likely Xin player and you don't have a Xin player, but BD, taking that Amumu on the R1 does definitely suggest that they're not picking Xin up after that one.
No, most definitely not. Now, I was about to mention how Amumu with the bandage toss changes has started popping up in support, but with the Leona lock-in immediately after that, we can safely assume that Amumu will be going to the jungle. Nautilus now being hovered, and looks like it's going to be jungle support priority for both teams.
Yeah, both of these jungle and support duos have a lot of pressure that they can have in the bot lane. Very easy gank setup. You land a Leona E, you landed a Mumu Q. Whoever you landed on, most likely going to be dead, especially if it is that 80 carry. And then Trundle Nautilus, basically same story. You can pillar someone right into the hook, and that is just, it's very tilting to play against. And then you got the Tom Kench locked in there on B3 for Shogun as well. Very tanky. It's not going to be played support, so definitely, I would like to think that as a top lane matched by a Shen there by BD.
That it is. So we're seeing a mirror pick order for both sides so far. The junglers, I guess unsurprising with how good both of these junglers have proven themselves to be, coming in first pick supports, followed by the top laners. Quickly addressing the ban so far, we see the Caitlyn banned away by the side of BDED. That should not be surprising, as Rednick went absolutely nuclear on that pick last week. In their last game, they went 2-0, swept the series. Rednick went 16-3 and 12 on the Caitlyn. So I would say no surprise to be banned there. Morgana banned away, a high priority champion so far this season. And Mordekaiser, the highest presence pick last season here in the Freshman League, also banned away. Second phase ends, and it looks like it's all mid laners being taken away.
Oh man, yeah, and you've got the insta lock-in on both of these 80 carries as well. Kaisa into Jinx. With this 80 carry matchup, I do believe it is more favored towards the Jinx, just purely because she's gonna outscale Kaisa no matter what happens in this lane. And Nautilus, his Q, a lot longer than that Leona E on the other side. Yes, Leona Kaisa, very strong 2v2. You threaten that with an Amumu as well. And Shen hanging around the top side. The second he hits level 6, if Amumu lands a Q, you are dead to 2 people.
Yep, and yeah, so you just mentioned how you think the Jinx is going to look better with the Nautilus. Could we expect the 2077 bot lane to have higher priority? Because if so, that could be a double-edged sword. You have an Amumu now with 2 Bandage Tosses ready to go, and the Stand United from the Shen. So I see a very strong gank slash counter engage option there in the bot lane for the side of BDED.
Yeah, you've got very strong ganks really in all of these lanes, excluding top lane. Top lane is going to be a farm fest this game. It's tank v tank. Everywhere else on the map, though, if you exclude top lane, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath here. You've got 80 carry into 80 carry, and both of them hyper scaling, just trying to get fed as early as possible. Silas into Victor as well. I believe early on that is Silas favored, and once it hits that level 6 level to level 9, it is slightly more Victor favored, but still it is a pretty skilled matchup for Stylus, and if he is able to steal that Victor ult, then he can cancel Victor ult with his own ultimate, I do believe. So that is a funny interaction. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, I honestly don't know either, and I am terrified of the prospect of a Silas stealing an Amumu ult, simply with the AP scaling available. And speaking of AP scaling available on the Amumu ult, personally, I don't quite know whether recent Amumu picks with his resurgence in the meta are going AP or tank routes. With the Leona and the Shen locked in, they certainly don't lack frontlining over on the side of BDED. So I won't be surprised if we do see possibly AP Amumu come out.
I have seen a lot more tank Amumu just because of the AP buffs to him. You really don't need to build AP. It's almost similar to how he was in the preseason of this season. If you remember all the way back to that, where it was the old solo Baron at 20 minutes with 0 items for Amumu. I don't think he's that level of broken, but he's definitely much more closer to that than he was just a couple days ago before the patch. And so even if he builds tank, it's one of those champions that's like, you look at him, you think he's a tank, and then he one-shots you with a 10-stack Darksteel, and you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
That should be how it works.
Yep. But I mean, if he does go tank Amumu, I would say this seems like a comp which is almost perfectly aligned with what Trundle wants to do with his R there. He can steal so much resistances from any of these 3 champions if the Amumu does go for the tank build. And personally, I am deeply satisfied. I've got so many frontliners in this game. And for those of you who did join us last season, you know how pesky I can be whenever a team does not pick any frontliners. So all in all, I'm happy with these team comps. Though I also love the global opportunities with the Shen.
Yeah, global opportunities is just the name of the game here, probably, right? Because Shen has his global, right? But then on the other team, they've got a Silas. They can steal the Shen ult as well. And then you're assuming most people here are going to be taking the TP if you are one of the solo laners. So you got TP on Silas and Shen. You got Shen ult on Silas and Shen. They're going to be everywhere around the map. If anything, I'm worried for Shogun's damage. He said that they have a lot of tanks, and the downside of having 3.5 tanks is you're going to be lacking damage. It is purely on this Jinx to just do all the damage that Shogun really need, and if Jinx dies, well, there goes your damage.
Yep. Well, we have seen Trinity Trundle builds come out, and if Trundle can get in on a priority target, he can do quite a surprising amount of damage, as we would say back in the Overwatch community. So I would say definitely keep your eyes on that. I want to look at this top lane matchup, because wet noodle fights are certainly not uncommon, but with the recent changes to Tahm Kench and the return of Tahm Kench top, do you have any thoughts going into this on who you think might come out on top in the top lane?
Oh, top lane. I think that it is a Tahm Kench matchup favored pre-6 and probably pre-11, honestly, up until it comes to the team fights and the map play later on. It is more Shen favored then, just because he has a lot easier map presence. Yes, Tahm Kench does have his quote-unquote ultimate on his Q now, which does give him a little bit more pressure against the Shen, but still, of course, it's not the true global ultimate that it once was. So I do think that in team fight, Shen is going to be a lot better, but in this specific like vacuum solo top lane, it is going to be more leaning towards that Tahm Kench.
Okay, so there it is. The catfish will have the advantage on the island if top island does remain top island.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see jungle pressure to scale towards a particular part of the map You did mention the Jinx being in a position to outscale the Kai'Sa. Do you think we'll then see more pressure from the Trundle toward the bot lane to make sure that scale, I don't know, how the scale meter maxes out even earlier for the Jinx? Or do you think we'll see a Mumu be like, okay, I know I need to get this Jinx behind early to ensure that the scaling comes as late as possible? Do you think we'll see it most of the attention bot lane then?
Yeah, I do definitely think that both of the win cons for these teams are in the bot lane. Yes, you do have a little bit of insurance policy for BDE with the Victor, but Victor, he is not going to be doing that same damage that a Kai'Sa will, and he does require a lot more gold funneled into him. And Amumu, Victor doesn't really come online until level 6, really a level 11, because you need a lot of damage from your ultimates. So this is going to be a very bot-focused game. It's going to be a very dragon-focused game, which is funny, of course, because of the names here. But yeah, I would definitely say it's all going to be in the bot lane here. Both teams.
All right. Okay. So, well, we know how strong Rednick is in this ADC position. Granted, it's not on a notorious Jinx that they're able to play. So I have to see how that goes. But once again, eyes on the jungle. I have to see if they do keep their eyes on the bot lane. I guess we can give a prelude to this. Unfortunately, Spectator has not been has been less than fully cooperative recently for League of Legends. I bring this up because it will most likely affect your experience as well, dear audience. But we'll do our best. We'll see how things go, and at the very least, we can paint a
Yes.
As I like to say, we casters paint pictures with our words. We may have to resort to like a 3rd grade crayon drawing tonight, but we'll see what we can accomplish. Don't expect any Van Gogh masterpieces come out as Champ Select comes to a close. And with that, I believe we will be heading to a short break as Spec delay winds down. Stick with us. We have Shogun 2077 on the blue side going up against Big Duck Entourage Druids. It's week 2 in Runeterra Academy's Freshman League. We'll be getting onto Summoner's Rift right after this quick break. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. In week 2 of Runeterra Academy's Freshman League, we have Shogun 2077 on the blue side going up against Big Duck Entourage Druids. I will not be calling them by their full name every time. Sorry about that. On the red side, like I said, it's week 2. My name is Tajgar, or Taj for short, joined on the desk by one of our very own sophomore league casters, Camcom. And we are seeing a bot-weighted start here from the side of Shogun.
Yeah, you love to see it. It's a Nautilus and a Trundle, right? If one of them lands their CC, it's probably going to spell death for anyone on BD. It's just unfortunate that they did walk over a ward. I don't know who wards that bush, but it was a very intelligent ward right there.
That it was. And with that, we can see the side of BDED exerting full pressure over on Shogun's own blue buff. We see Church of Aesol still hanging out over there. Things have the potential to get spicy.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna start each other's blue buffs here, and based on the pings, they're just gonna try and vertical jungle, which is not
Ooh.
very good whatsoever for Church of Aesol, because he's on the top side. Top side, not the win condition here for either team. You can get Leap, Leopard, Koopa up there ahead on the Shen as much as you want, but Shen versus Kaisa, I could definitely make a prediction on who's gonna be doing more damage between the two.
Now, Nacho Scuttle actually had vision on Church of Aesol as Church of Aesol used the Blast Cone to get over the wall onto Wolves, and he is continuing to exert his pressure. In comes Choppa Melodies from the mid lane. Acquired Taste is fully stacked. Stun will miss. Nacho thought the Church of Aesol would bend toward the mid lane. That is not the case. Church of Aesol will get out of there alive, but only taking, what was that, about 1 or 2 wolves from that camp.
Yeah, he got 1 small wolf, 1 big wolf. Meanwhile, Tafiki, he got enemy blue buff right there. Church of Aesol, he's got no blue. He's got a top side, he's got a bot side minus a blue buff. And for an Amumu, you're trying to hit level 6 as fast as possible. And if you're getting your buff stolen level 1, that is definitely not something that you're looking forward to on this chap.
And I have heard that Amumu is not a full clear back kind of jungler. You can't really afford to do that. So you're only going to take a few, like maybe 5 out of your 6 camps, and then you're going to go for the back, and then you're going to get back onto the map. So this is certainly a dismal start for Church of Aesol. But we know Church of Aesol is good. Was week 1's player of the week in the jungle, so I'm sure they are more than capable of coming back from this. Now it's all down on the side of Shogun to exert as much pressure as they can on what can now be considered a weak link for the side of BDED.
Yeah, and we can look back onto last week's games where Shogun, they did go 2-0, BDE did go 2-1. So if you want to look at it from a side of experience together as a teams, we're still only in week 2, right? There's still only 2 or 3 games on the board, but still having that 3rd game does give you a little bit more experience, especially having a loss on the table. A loss looks bad on score, but it gives you a lot more lessons to learn from that game. And taking that into game 1 here on week 2, I would say is a lot more beneficial.
Yeah, I can do nothing but wholeheartedly agree with that. We see Tafiki possibly setting up for something in the mid lane, but it doesn't look like they appreciate how this wave is currently set up. Going to show themselves as they go down towards bot Scuttle, which Church of Aesol is already claiming. So it's a Scuttle split for the junglers. Tem has vision. Out comes Zenith's Blade. It's a stun landing. The Banish Toss will miss. Will the second charge come out? Not yet. Ignite ticking away. There's a Banish Toss into the gravity field. It's a stun. A Flash Force out of Tafiki. They're trying to stay on top of Choppa. Choppa will survive with half health. Tafiki gets away alive. I hate people rotating up from the bot lane. The hook is going to land onto Tem on the Leona. Flash Force out of the support for BDED. Choppa Melodies goes in with the Epson. Abduct. It lands. First blood. Go over to Choppa on the Silas. Church of Aesol now locked up. Forced to flash away. A beautiful gravity field from Fishing Diff will keep its jungler alive. And it's an unanswered first kill for the side of Shogun there in the bot lane river.
Oh no, BDE! You had the flash out of Tafiki and you could have just walked that one out. You had the pressure mid lane, you got the flash out from the enemy jungler, but they wanted the kills and it looked so close, so good for them up until the first kill did go over. First one going over to Choppa as well, putting even more gold into Silas's pocket when he is going to be that biggest counter to that Shen. He can steal your ult, he can do the exact same thing that you're able to do, and now Church of Aesol, man, this bot side jungle, he is not allowed to walk in it whatsoever.
Yep, now forced to recall. Solo on health. Missed a smite on their own wolves there. So now Tafiki has full reign with the help of I Hate People. I will have to come up with something for short there. To go and scope out, steal the Gromp. I believe it's another blue taken. No, it's not going to respawn quite yet. Yeah. A bad start for Amumu. Simply getting worse now as time goes on. CS difference is primarily just that in the jungle. A few camps ahead is Tafiki, but we'll have to see what Church of Aesol can do to try to even that up. But I don't think they're going to be able to do anything if the team does not play for them.
Yeah, Tafiki, he did have the early CS lead over Church of Aesol just because of all the power of the invades, right? But now he's taken this lead and he's gone to solo Dragon with it. Soloing Dragon takes a long time when it's this early into the game, so this is giving a little bit more time over to Church of Aesol to try and catch up. Of course, he is still only a level 4 Amumu. He can only clear so fast with some bandages, but it is a nice 30 to 45 second window that he was gifted there. Yes, they did lose first Dragon, but it's only a Cloud. Cloud does nothing when you don't even have an ultimate quite yet.
Yep. With it being the Cloud Dragon, an Ocean Dragon will be following that up. So we are looking at either an Infernal or a Mountain Soul this game. And I can tell you, a Mountain Soul on either of these teams is going to make team fights take a lot longer than they normally would with these tanky champions on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got like 3.5 tanks, and hold that thought bot lane.
Yeah, there's an engage in the bot lane. It's going to be the Zenith Blade coming out. It's going to catch onto Redneck and Knight taken away, but a nice trap onto Prevail will buy some time. In comes a jungler from the side of BDED. It's Leper Koopa with the Stay United join the fight as well. A kill secured. Redneck goes down. Tim trying to get back out there. It's going to be Choppa Melodies falling, Silas falling, 3 falling for the side of Shogun. Nacho Scuttle TP'd in to find nothing but the bodies of his brethren on the ground. And it will be 4-0 in the bot lane in favor of BDED.
Oh no! Shogun, you had first blood. It was gifted to you on a silver platter. Now look at the power of the Dark Seal on Church of Aesol. 5 stacks, 7 minutes. He was sitting 0. He was sitting low gold on it, and now he's been gifted all the AP he could ever need. That's the only AP item you need to build on this champion. And now, once he hits level 6, he was still level 5 for that fight. He's gonna be huge. Plus, you still have TP available on Leper Coop up there in the top lane. He only had to use ult. Meanwhile, both TPs burned for Shogun. The TP was burned on Fishing as well. So 1 TP remaining on the map will be up for Ocean in just 3 minutes here.
Yep, and it is on Leper Koopa. So, you know, the free TP kind of there in the Stand United used to keep the teammates alive, join the fight later on. And a 150 gold bounty now on Church of Aesol there in the jungle. Certainly proving their worth and why they received Player of the Week last week and why they're #1 rated jungler. CS has even out in the jungle, though that Dragon Take did help. But there's going to be Absun to Abduct in the mid lane. Is Fishing Gift trying to get out a stolen Victor ultimate. Will try to finish off the kill. Choppa Melodies will find the kill there in the bot river. Solo kill for the mid laner.
Yeah, that was both flashes burned. I don't think Fishing Diff had his ultimate up available for that, so it was just Melody's using his own ultimate against him, and you can see he's got a little bit more AP in his pocket now, but bot lane fight again.
There's another ZP coming out. It's Redneck caught once again. The killer instinct already used
Oh
by
my
Prevail to try to get in the back, but
gosh!
look at that damage coming through. Tem will find the kill. A bandage toss and Curse of the Sad Mummy in the mid lane. Chopper Melodies with the Kingslayer is going to heal up and shut down any attempt to shut him down. Church of Aesol now falls in the mid lane. 1-for-1 across the map for both teams.
And with the nerfs to Darksteel, he went from 5 to 0 stacks on it now. It is so sad. Everyone needs to cry for the poor Amumu. Now, we've got to take 1v1 up here in the top lane, but we've got some pretty massive wave stacks on both lanes.
That we do. Leper Koopa brought very low. Nacho Scuttle forcing the issue and a solo kill. You didn't mention Tom Kench possibly having the upper hand in this 1v1 in the lane, and it looks like that is coming to fruition.
Yeah, and Leper Koopa did burn his TP to get to that wave. You see just how massive that wave is. I think that is 3 entire waves stacked. The CS is already a little bit in favor of Nacho Scuttle, and after this, man, Leper Koopa, he has ultimate up available. Honestly, I would ult for that wave. That wave is enough to put you out of laning phase right there.
But it looks like that will not be the case. Church of Aesol will fall back to their own jungle, and Leper Koopa has to take the walk of shame back to their own lane. As the side of Shogun 2077 turns their eyes to the first Rift Scuttle of the game. Now, if they take this, do you have any insight into where do you think they might drop it down? Or do you think they're waiting for something to really develop before they really dedicate that resource?
Well, so far, you do have a fairly large amount of gold on Choppa Melodies, and I say that and he almost dies, of course, because that's just how it works, unfortunately. But yes, as of right now, in this early game, you are trying to get gold onto Melodies before you start transitioning that lead onto Rednick, where Melodies, he's going to be a lot more useful in this early to mid game than, of course, once it gets to team fighting mid to late game, it's all going to be on Rednick's shoulders, and Choppa Melodies mostly just there to match the 1v1 on the solo lane.
Okay. Second dragon has spawned now. It is an ocean. Rednick is having to take the long way home to try to get around.
No.
There's no way they get out of here without taking any sort of CC. Church of Aesol just walking menacingly. It's gonna go. Out is the bandage. Rednick will dodge the solar flare, but not the curse of the sad mummy. I hate people just trying to buy some time with the depth charge. They will. Now we turn our eyes to the top lane as Nacho Scuttle now getting the short end of the stick in the 1v1. It will be Rednick falling in the bot lane as BDED turn their eyes to this dragon.
Yeah, this would be the first dragon pickup for Big Duck Entourage here. If they are able to, Melodies, of course, he's holding that curse of the Six Mummy. He's looking for the steal flash.
And it's going to be the steal coming out from Tafiki. 2 kills already in the fight. It's going to be the supports falling for both side. Chopper Melodies going in. Kingslayer not able to heal him back up. Church of Aesol flashed out to stay alive. A beautiful flash to get away. Tafiki falls. It's going to be Prevail finding the kill. The dragon was stolen, but BDED come out on top in the fight.
I was the flash, that was the ult, that was the everything out of Tafiki. He committed his mind and brain and soul into that dragon, and he was able to take it. Unfortunately, he gave half of his life, half of his team's lives for the dragon. But that is a mental diff right there, my friends. That is a much bigger deficit on the mental than anything else. You see, he leaves the game probably. It's too much for him, man.
All right. We had a pause as Fishing Diff has left the game. Once we receive word as to why, if we receive word as to why, we be sure to relay it to you. Now, as we sit looking at this beautiful Stepia filter on our game, I think we can take quick stock. At the moment, top diff, I would say.
Yeah, top lane's just been crazy this game, man. Like, the amount of 1v1s they've got ultimate dragon control up there, it's just been crazy. There's, like, been 30 solo kills. It's actually, though, you look at the Darksteel stacks back onto the Amumu. Church of Aesol, he's back at 5 despite giving that one death over, taking away all his Darksteel. So if he is able to continue stacking that safely, then he is still doing a lot of AP damage. And you can see he is still going the item that burns you around, Sunfire Cape, that one. So he is
Sunfire Aegis.
Yes, the new one. I still call it Sunfire Cape.
It could be Frostfire. It could be Frostfire though.
It's still Michael's Crucible too, by the way. So
Hey, I still call them ninja tabbies. No one will stop me
No
from doing that.
one no one calls them
No.
steel caps. No, it's tabbies all the way.
All right. And I do want to say that uh, Chop and Melodies, all in all, a good job getting that first blood onto Fishing Diff. But we mentioned how Rednick is really the turning point for the side of 2077. Bot lane was the focus. You see Rednick setting 0-3-1, whereas Prevail was 2-0-6. And it looks like BDED is currently succeeding in making sure that that late game Jinx comes in very late. I don't like the odds of a Silas trying to take down 3 tanks.
Yeah, he's gonna have a rough time there on the Silas. He's got to put his carry pants on here. He's got almost his full mythic completed here at 12 minutes. Do believe he will have that completed 100% before the next dragon fight, which will be the sole point for Shogun if they are able to take it, whether it is through another epic steal once again, which honestly at this point, if they just play for steals, they're going to win the game off of the soul. They're still down 1,000 gold. It's been around a 1,000 gold difference for either team hovering throughout this entire 12-minute game so far, but still 1,000 gold doesn't mean a whole lot. It's like one half of an item, not really a whole lot, especially when it is divided amongst 5 members. So very even game so far. Only real lead is, of course, in the 2 dragons for Shogun.
Yep. And it will be a Mountain Soul coming up. So, you know, Inferno might have been a bit sleeper on these team comps. We don't have a lot of poke or anything or big burst damage. Technically we could see that out of a Victor if they land a full combo. But it will be the Mountain Soul, which is just going to buff up these front lines even more. And with that in mind, I think that you were entirely correct in Champ Select. You looked into the crystal ball and you said it's gonna be bot lane focus. And I think getting these Kraken Slayers completed on these ADCs to try and rip through these tanks will be the name of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Just like you're saying, it's the power of the tanks. We're in tank meta apparently now. It is
Feels good,
all
man.
just tanks. You've got 3 tanks on both teams this game, and then it's just the mid laner and the AD carry that are doing all the damage. And still, Melody's on that Silas, going to be very tanky on him no matter what you build, because you're able to steal 3 tank ultimates for him as well.
Yep, 3 tank ultimates and whatever Bright was thinking when they gave him his healing on his W. I will forever be salty about Silas. We unfortunately my producer told me what happened, but I failed to actually hear it. Okay, so unfortunately, Victor, despite being the techie genius he is, his Wi-Fi machine broke. So it's a full internet cutout, apparently, for Fishing Diff, or maybe not full cutout, but at the very least, service has been put on hold for the time being. With that in mind, I believe instead of sitting here running our throats ragged, we here at the caster desk will throw things to a break as Fishing Diff tries to sort out things on their end. 5-9 is the current score line. BDED sitting comfortably with that lead, along with a 1,000 gold lead. But Shogun 2077 showing signs of life. 2 dragons up, going up towards a Mountain Soul. It would be up to Choppa to try to put out some pressure. As you said, put on the carry pants, try to lead their team to victory. And we'll see if they can do that after this break. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience in getting this pause sorted out. Unfortunately, Fishing Diff's internet, it seems like did not return. However, BDED have chosen to continue playing the 4v5 as I'm sitting here looking at... Oh, no, now we're going. Okay. Looks like BDED will be playing out the 4v5. They're looking to hit the grind. We'll see how that turns out, if they can make the miracle comeback. However, with their primary scaling option, the Victor, out of the picture... I did not mean to rhyme that. Now it seems like the Jinx will have free reign in this late game. Rhyme that too. And I think things look rough for the red side.
Man, you could have just pulled that off so well. Then you were interrupting your rhymes, man. Like
I
that was
wasn't
high
trying. I
quality
can't
right
accept
there.
credit for it when I'm not trying.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Game 1 tonight of Freshman League. We've got Shogun on blue, Big Duck Entourage on red. Both of these teams on standings currently 1-0 from week 1 here, so very exciting. Mountain on the blue side, Ocean on red if you're looking for their houses, as well as we've got a fight here bot lane.
That it is going to be a TP being channeled from, I believe it was Nacho Scuttle. Yes, the knockup will land. The death charge
Oh,
follows as well. And it's a slow but certain death for Prevail as Redneck suddenly presses their advantage. It's the 4v5. Shogun 2077 saying no more messing around as Tem will be spat out. A blast cone will
oh
send
no.
everybody flying in different directions, but a stolen solar flare lands perfectly. Tabiki Jr. polish up the kill, and it's free reign on the map, basically, for the side of Shogun.
Yeah, it is unfortunate when you just don't have that pressure in the mid lane. So Melodies, he was already ahead before. He was already so close to getting a very early mythic item, and now he can roam anywhere on the map without a threat of any pressure on his tower. And that is something that you do not want to give to a Silas, as he will definitely be able to use that very strongly. Now, Shogun, they did drop that Rift Herald on the top tower there, so they did get some plates up on Nacho Scuttle, but here the mid
Oh
lane.
no, Church of Aesol will use ultimate, try to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough. Chopper Melee just picking up another kill. Prevail making a brave final stand at that tier 1 tower down in the bot lane. The minions are cleared out, so it's going to stand for the time being, but I doubt it will stay that way for long, as the Jinx and Noct can just push this out. Prevail falling back to the tier 2. And we'll have to see if Tom Kench can get the better of this 1v1 as you thought they would.
Yeah, you would think, but then you remember that Shen is still a very mobile champion for some reason. He can taunt halfway across the lane. It's a very fun ability right there. As I just wanted to mention again how it is very unfortunate whenever Church of Aesol dies, he is holding on to this Dark Steel for his life at this point. He gets to 5 stacks, he dies. He gets to 5 stacks again, he dies once again. Now, I really hope that he's able to break this circle, whether he gets to higher than 5 stacks or he just never dies again. But he does have that completed Sunfire now, so he's gonna be a lot more tanky here if he does want to go in. But at this point, you're not looking for a 5v5 if you're BDE. You're looking for a pick and then maybe a 4v4, but ideally just an objective get in, get out angle.
Yep, most certainly the case. But it's not the greatest pick potential for these two, for the side of BDED, as Leper Cooper is going to get caught out. It's IK people rotating all the way up from the bot lane. Yummy, yummy. Tom Kench with Chen in their tummy. Leper Cooper is going to get caught out. Tafiki joined the game as well. It looks like they're just going to let Leper Cooper, hopefully, or not just got to hopefully get the kill. Yes, no getting away this time for Leper Cooper. And now the scoreline is tied, but at this point, I would say that does not come as a surprise.
Yeah, it's been 4 kills back to back in favor of Shogun. It's unfortunate, like we said, BDE, if they had their 5th member here, they could have 100% turned at least a few kills, if not traded a tower or 2, but now sitting no dragons, no towers taken, no heralds taken for them either. It's looking more and more rough, as half of their scaling members were removed. Now it's all on a Kaisa, and if all your scaling is on a Kaisa, then that is going to be very problematic here.
Yep, it's going to be Tem caught all alone. Ingo Church Ace with a beautiful Curse of the Sad Mummy. Ingo Prevail, but stunned up by a beautiful Solar Flare. Leper Cooper joins the fight, but it might just not be enough. Church Ace in the back line, wreaking havoc as the Mummy. Leper Cooper will find a kill, a double for Rednick, however, and that just means the Jinx is going to get stronger. And as time goes on, that will likely be the death sentence for the side of BDED.
That is almost just about the best thing you could have hoped for if you are a big duck entourage, is you got a 4-man ultimate from your Amumu. That is incredible. 4-man Amumu ult into Leona ult into what could have been a Victor ult on top of their heads for the extra damage. So if that was the case, that would have been a clip for the sentries. It's just unfortunate that they were missing the follow-up damage. So they only got 2 kills and lost 3, but that is 2 more kills than they had a minute ago.
That is now Leper Cooper up here in the top lane. It's going to be Tem joining the fight as well. Nacho Scuttle may have bitten off more than he could chew. Zenith Blade will not land. The flash forward from Tem there, at the very least, going to try to pad their stats this game. Healing comes through from the Grey Health. A stun still has yet to land. There's a Zenith Blade. Prevail is here to try to provide some damage between the top Kraken Slayer. A nice Solar Flare is going to catch him in the stun, interrupting the the
Q.
Whatever that ability is called. No, that's his E. No, W.
He tried to Q away right there, but
no, that's his W.
The Q is the one that makes him run away.
His Q is his tongue lash.
Is it? I'm very good at abilities. This is
Oh,
why I am a support main for the record.
yo,
I do not
same.
play Tom Kench. So ability names, nah. I point and click people and keep my team alive. That's my goal. And Tom Kench, he just likes to lick people to death. So that is not on my books. Melody's looking to steal some chickens.
That's just disrespectful at this point, but looks like he's gonna pay for it the hard way. Force the
Oh.
flash away. The bandage toss will just barely miss. Choppa, by the skin of his teeth, will get out of there alive.
If that was a Blitzcrank hook instead of an Amumu Q, that would have landed, so he's very unlucky that that was only a bandage thrown at his face. He was forced to flash and ult away, but still Melody's escaping with a full Everfrost and a half in his pocket, now looking to have that stopwatch for himself as well, just to have that little extra amount of defense so that he can just go full 8p damage afterwards and be absolutely huge. But now, he doesn't have the massive 8p ultimate to steal away from Victor. That was going to be his main damage ultimate if he
Mm,
wanted one in this game. He can get Kaisa, but that scales off of AD, I do believe. So a shield not going to be the most helpful when you can just get a shield off channel.
yep. There's like another 1v1 between the top laners here. We can see that CS as even out between the two of them, but health bars are telling a different story as Nacho Scuttle just continues to lick away at Leper Koopa. It looks like it's going to be a slow, agonizing end for the top laner of BDED. Prevail just trying to come in to provide support. There's a flash. In comes
Oh no!
Prevail. Now chunking away. Look at that gray health converted into the shield. A beautiful solar flare will
Hey!
buy some time. And Prevail will find the kill. It's a 1-for-1, but in the meantime, 27-7
Baron,
have
no,
turned
no.
their eyes to the Baron.
Man, Tema's playing this Leona so well. Maybe he did have one or two bad flashes in landing phase, but now into this mid game here, he's been getting a lot of these very crucial ultimates. As you see, Church Vassal, he was going for the steal. He had the steal in his mind. If I Hate People was not there to stop him, I definitely was a believer in the steal. He is down 2 levels, but that doesn't mean anything at Smite anymore. Down 2 levels, still 100% even on Smite.
Yep, so 50-50s all game long. As we mentioned, jungle diff likely a factor here. It most definitely is, as you can see, but still, it's a 4v5, so we can't take things at face value anymore. Ace will clean up their blue buff. The next dragon will be coming in a minute 20 seconds, and if that is claimed by the side of 2077, that will be the Mountain Soul for them. Which will likely be the final nail in the coffin for the side of BDED.
Yeah, but if the team fight goes anywhere how it did last team fight before the third dragon for Shogun, that's going to be even more gold into Big Duck Entourage's pockets, and that's really all they can hope for at this point is maybe a team fight, maybe an ultimate here.
So for landing is going to be engaged onto the Silas in the back. I Hate People brought so low. Church Ace will find the kill. A 4-man Silas stolen ultimate, but no follow-up whatsoever. And it looks like 2077 is just getting greedy.
Man, that was real rough there from Melodies. He was caught out in 4 people and just bursted down. He almost found 1 kill back for himself, but still not quite enough on his Silas yet. And now Nacho Scuttle.
There's a tongue lash. Prevail brought relatively low. It's a devour. Will this be enough to finish off the ADC?
No.
Yes, it will. As Nacho Scuttle will find the kill. Another interrupt on his deep dive, I think is what it's called. Going to be fully locked up by 3 top laners. Goodness, great. Not 3 top laners, 3 tanks, sorry. The Super Mega Death Rocket will go, at the very least, a little wide. And the kill will be secured by Leper Koopa.
Man, it's just all tanks. Let's just all throw our tanks into a fighting ring and see who does the most damage. And now we know that it's not the Tom Kench, but they did throw 3 members top lane while the Mountain Soul was on the map for the bottom there. So now Mountain Soul claimed by Shogun. This is going to give them this regenerating shield on all 5 members. It constantly regenerates no matter what happens, I do believe. I think damage can cancel, but that's about it. So if you're leaving them to regenerate, if they're gonna regenerate health and now a regenerating shield on top of that. So if you wanted to team fight them, you gotta blow them up instantly.
Yep. I don't think a single Kaisa is enough for that. I mean, respect to the
No.
build. They know what they're doing. Kraken Slayer into Phantom Dancer. That's, you know, your bread and butter when it comes to anti-tank. But unfortunately, You'll have a Silas diving you as well. The Trundle is what is it? Sorry. Titanic. Is that standard second item? I know it's a tank item, but I would have expected maybe Asterix or something come out, or something more survivability centered in a standard
Oh
build.
no. Oh.
Church Aso being caught up here. The Banished
Oh.
Cost gonna try to buy some time. They flash forward, and it Curse Sad Mummy. A beautiful killer instinct coming out from Prevail to try to get onto Red Nick. Red Nick brought low, but not finished up. Prevail will get the tables turned onto them, and they will fall. A triple knockup coming through from the Death Charge. There's Church Aso going into the back line. Will not find the counter Red Nick. Yes, they will. Psych. There's the Sunfire Aegis damage coming through, but it's still a 2-for-1 in favor of 2077. And it looks like if it's not going to be a quick mercy kill, a slow suffocation will be the fate of BDED for the rest of this game.
They are still getting kills onto Prevail. I don't know how they're doing it, but if you wanted kills on anyone on your team, it was going to be on your Kai'Sa. It's just unfortunate that they all died right after the team fight as well. So now you're losing your entire mid lane here. It's almost a possibility that Shogun look to hit a couple Nexus turrets as well, but they are just going to try and take that top lane instead. But still, massive team fight from Big Duck Entourage. Once again, just showing how strongly they are able to communicate with each other. It's going to be another team
Here's a
fight.
quick engage onto Nacho Scuttle. Solar Flare will find 2 in the stun. Tem keeping the top laner of 27 engage. Occupy a nice dredge line coming out. Will catch Prevail, but there's no follow-up.
Oh.
There's a shutdown. It's going to Viki falling
Oh
to
my gosh.
Tem. The Super Mega Death Rocket with some damage coming through. Leper Koopa continuing the push for the side of BDEED. 3 quick kills for the red side as Chupa Choppa is forced to run for the hills. And I mean, it's an awkward state of the game now.
Church of Aesol!
Yeah.
He broke the streak. He got past 5 Darksteel stacks. We
Hey.
made it to 6. Let's go. Now he's never gonna die again in this game, right? Right? Also,
Yeah, for sure.
this is a very underrated item I want to talk about. Abyssal Mask.
Mhm.
That I really like this item. It's good in almost every single comp, especially in competitive. It is just very unfortunate that this is not one of those because he does not have any AP damage on his team with Victor not in the game. But if Victor was in the game and he still had Abyssal Mask, that would have been absolutely huge, especially with, of course, the Amumu passive with him as well. But still, that team fight, again, absolutely huge for BDE, trying to turn this game back around. Still down 5,000 gold, but now they are up in kills, just looking for either a Baron or an Elder at this point. Want to get one objective on the board, whether it's one of those or one of the towers still remaining, still sitting at 0 towers. But Church of Aesol, he doesn't want objectives, he wants kills here.
Yep, the Banished Toss will miss, and I think it's honestly a good thing that it did. There's a knock-up coming through, but IA People is in no position to land a dredge line. Blast Cone will get them out further away from the rest of the team. There's a Devour. Gonna spit the Moon out into the middle of the team. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is used defensively to try to buy some time, but it looks like it's not going to be enough as Church of Aesol is slowly ran
no.
down and finished off.
Oh no! But the
And
Dark
yeah,
Seal!
the Dark Seal stacks, no!
Oh no, it's so sad! Oh, now it is down to a 3v5 for the Baron. This could be the last Baron of this game one, depending on if Shogun decide to group up and end the game with it. But still, possibility for a steal from a Kai'Sa W that is landed from Vision now, but now it can't be landed for the steal potential. Baron secured by Shogun, now looking to end it here.
Yep. I will say, if there are any members of the Church of LS out there, I think you can agree with me in saying that taking that mid inhibitor was a bad move by the side of Shogun 2077.
No.
Why? Super inhibitor. Okay, now Super Minion is going to be pushing forward and giving them free farm. Should have left the inhibitor up, so they at least have to step forward to try to keep the waves balanced. But it looks like it will make no real difference in the end, as 5 members of 2077 turn their attention towards the first Nexus turret. The ADC for BDED is not even present, but here's the engage anyway. There's a Solar Flare, I believe, a stolen one down in the middle. The top laner will fall for the side of 2077. There's Church of Aesol in the back line trying to stay on top of Red Nick. Look at that damage come through from the Sunfire Aegis, but it's not enough to kill an instant used by Prevail to try to get to the back line. But Red Nick is already way too out of there. But in the meantime, BDED is looking like they're still getting the upper hand in this fight. Leper Koopa can't stay on top of Red Nick as Red Nick still chipping away from the back line. Tafiki stays alive and finishes off Tem. It's going to be Leper Koopa falling in the end. Tafiki doing a great job dealing damage and staying alive up there in the front line as Red Nick kites perfectly to get away from Church of Aesol and Lepra Koopa, giving the fight over to the side of Shogun 2077. My gameplay has
That
frozen, and
that
I'm
was
pretty
the
sure Shogun
game.
2077 to win.
Yep, that's a very old spectator bug right there, actually. Is the game freezing right before the Nexus goes down? But that is game one going over to Shogun there. Red Dick, absolutely huge in that last team fight. I don't think he had a single kill before that team fight, but sitting 3 items very pretty on that Jinx, almost at the 30-minute mark. On any AD carry, once you get 3 items, you're absolutely huge, especially if one of them is Phantom Dancer. You get a shield, nobody expects a shield, and then all of a sudden, you kill the entire backline despite being dove on by the Amumu. That was a really strong team fight from positioning there, right there from Redneck.
Mm. It's just, is most certainly a shame that unfortunately it wasn't a 4v5. We could just see from the outcome of those later team fights how strongly the side of B to ED can work together. I saw some very good target prioritization coming out through the engages from the Leona, from Church of Aesol as well. The killer instinct used by Prevail to get on top of the priority targets, namely Red Nick 953. If Fishing Diff was there, the game most certainly could have gone either way, especially because of how B to ED worked into getting an early game lead in. But sometimes the cookie crumbles rather nastily. Um, so yeah, that's going to be Shogun 2077 taking the first game of this best of 3 series. Big thanks to the side of BDED for choosing to play the game out. They have the option of, and in situations like this, teams have the option to either play the game out as a 4v5 or 5v, however many are left. Maybe everybody loses internet except one, in which case it would be 5v1, God forbid.
Oh no.
Yeah, but they could have chosen to gracefully surrender, but they decided to play it out. Big respect to them for that. We'll have to see if they can find a sub for the next game, or if Fishing Diff has been able to get their internet up in the meantime. We will get word from our overlords here at Runeterra Academy, considering what they're going to do for that. But in the meantime, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll be back most likely with Game 2 after it. Stick with us. More Freshman League of Legends action coming through with Game 2 between Shogun 2077 and Big Duck Entourage Druids. is now able to rejoin us after internet has returned. So we can expect, with any luck, a full 5v5 for the entirety of this upcoming game. Now, BDED left, unfortunately, they were on the right foot when suddenly the flooring was pulled out from under them, and they collapsed with Fishing Diff leaving the game or being disconnected from the game. But now I'm excited to see what they can do as a full squad.
Yeah, and with the full squad, you have almost a Trundle B1 again, but instead going to be swapped out for that Leona. Not a support that you usually see B1, but because she can be countered by a lot of the other meta-engaged champions, and of course the Morgana, which Morgana was banned, so you're not picking her, but that's going to be matched by Shogun's Caitlyn Trundle. That is, again, we saw these champions last game, very powerful duo.
Oh, I mean, no, we didn't see the Caitlyn last game.
We didn't see the we saw the Trundle last game.
We saw the Trundle. Oh, you are talking about Leona and the Trundle?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I might probably talking about the Caitlyn. Yes, the Leona and the Trundle. We also saw some very nice engages coming out from Tem on the Leona, Tafiki on the Trundle, which also nice gameplay as well. A beautiful Dragon Steel. But Caitlyn making it through the ban phase this time. It seems like BDED want to turn their eyes to the Tahm Kench, which was running amok up there in the top lane, but that doesn't mean letting Rednick get his hands on that Caitlyn, which we know we can do great things with. Now it's going to be the Braum for support here for the side of 2077.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Braum is one of those supports that can definitely counter Leona. He can disengage her so easily, and then his ultimate is just bigger than hers. It just comes down to how big is your ultimate, and Braum's his is much bigger, and it lasts for a lot longer as well, as we see a lot more mid bans coming out. I'm thinking that this comp that BDED has drafted again is mostly just down the comfort lane, as none of these champions are particularly the most meta in the game, but played together and played together as well as they did in game one do make it very strong. Unfortunately, they don't get the same mid laner, as the Victor was banned away by Shogun.
Yep, but hey, there really is them showing some respect. They know that Fishing Diff can do some nice things on champion. To see what they want to go with here, if we actually try to take a quick look, Fishing Diff does have a Orianna pick that they can pull through. It's most played in the current season, but it'll be the KO locked in for Nacho Scuttle for the side of 2077, which is not one of the most played for Nacho, but their most recent ranked game was KO. So.
Well then, there you go. Just playing it like it's solo queue, man. You pick your KO, you don't leave top lane until level 16, and then there you go. You just win the game, right? I think that's how that works, totally. And we have a Volibear lock-in here by BDE. I do believe that has to be a Volibear top, as you're not throwing him jungle when you already have an Amumu locked in, so potential of comfort here for the top laner of BDE. Now on this B5, do have to lock in some more AP damage here for the mid laner. Unfortunate that the Victor and Anivia was banned, but it's going to be that Azir locked in.
And yeah, Volibear, one of the most played top laners for Leper Koopa there on the side of BDED. So going back to what you said, it's all comfort picks down here. Meta can go out the window. We need Azir picked, and ooh, now an Akali. Spicy is not Azir Corki, Resident Sleeper. Yeah, Akali and the Chaos. That's two large sources of AP coming out from the side of 2077. Not answered so much in kind by the side of BDED.
Yeah, we've gone down to 2 tanks now. We've gone down from the 3 tank meta. We've evolved, or I guess devolved, to a 2 tank game here now instead. But still, I mean, no, BDE still does kind of have 3 tanks. So scratch that, Volibear, Leona, Amumu. They're all pretty strong tanks, and they're going to definitely be able to keep Kaisa and Azir alive throughout these team fights. Which, by the way, if you thought the Wombo combo was good in game 1, game 2, you've got an Emperor's Divide into the sad Amumu ultimate, and of course a Solar Flare right on top of all 5 members. So if you get caught out in that from Shogun, your team is going to die very quickly. That
it will. At the very least, though, we have the Kale ultimate ready to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of a protect the president kind of approach come out from the side of Shogun 2077, particularly focused on trying to keep Red Nick alive. Like I said, we have the Braum there, Master of Disengage in the comp to give further protection to the Caitlyn. But like you said, it's a wombo combo for the main course there on the side of BDED. If we want to try to break it down from simply 5v5 death balls going at each other to a more lane-focused look, I've not seen a Kale in a while. I did see it recently in watching the interactive live event for the new Pensico album that dropped, but I've not seen Kale on the Rift in a while. Do you have any thoughts as to the Kale versus Volibear matchup?
I do think that she does some deceptively a lot of early game damage pre-6. You see a Kale and you think, man, she's not going to do anything until she hits level 6, let alone level 11 or 16. But no, if you start taking some poor trades with her, she can definitely start getting an HP lead, and then that could turn into an XP lead and the gold lead, of course. So Volibear, it is a melee into melee matchup pre-6, but once it does hit level 6, I do think it's going to be much more Kale favored. Yes, Volibear can cancel tower shots, but that doesn't mean a whole lot if you're already behind, if you're already sitting under your own tower. So it is going to come down a little bit more to the jungle matchup as well to support both these top laners, as there could be some solo kills up here. I wasn't predicting any last game. This game, maybe 1 or 2, but it is going to be a lot more reliant on the Amumu and Trundle to set it up, as they're the ones with all the CC in the kit.
Yep, that was the case. I can see Volibear actually maybe cheesing some early game trades. KO forced to step up in that melee form. Volibear with a quick EQW combo might be able to wreck the house here for the Kale, particularly because Volibear is that much more of a tanky champion than the Kale, even by default. But yeah, like you said, I mean, always keep your eyes on the jungle for the entirety of this series, with junglers of the caliber of Church of Aesol and Tafiki Jr. in play. The mid lane, Azir into Akali. I am a fan of Akali myself, though granted I never played her pre-rework. Going into the Azir, I kind of like Akali's odds there, because Azir wants to keep you where he wants you. You know, his kit revolves around the strategic placing of those sand soldiers. If Akali can dance around with the shuriken flip with the smoke screen, I can see things getting difficult for the Azir in the one-on-one.
Yeah, both of those champions are just very micro-focused. It's gonna come down to who makes a micro mistake in these 1v1s, because that is probably going to be the deciding factor on who gets a kill in them, as we are in freshman league here. We're not expecting any challenger level Akalis or Azirs here, so these are definitely more on the complicated side of champions to pilot. So when it is like that here, it comes down to skill, and it comes down to who lands more auto attacks. And in this kind of matchup, I want to give it more to the Akali, because her ultimate is just simply easier to land, honestly. Like, you land both parts of the ultimate that could do 800 damage to Azir, and he doesn't click E fast enough with his shield on it, then he could just be popped instantly.
Yep. Yeah, and I want to say also that I'm kind of wish that BDED had chosen some more, not just backline access, I think they have plenty of that, but more of a backline disruption oriented champion. Like the Akali is like, it's an Akali, you know they're going to be going after the ADC or something, but Kai'Sa is not the best ADC to really think of in that way, because she has her killer instinct ready to go. Chances are, with the big engage coming out from the Leona, from the Azir, from the Amumu, we'll see Kai'Sa swapping sides and jumping into 2077's own backline, which will consist of Rednick's Caitlyn. Now, if the side of 2077 is able to space their team fights correctly, I can see it being very difficult for the side of BDED trying to deal with Rednick on that champion.
Yeah, I think Rednick is going to have a lot harder of a game than he did in game 1 just through laning phase. I mean, yes, laning phase, Rednick, he was in on the drinks, he was in 03, he just knew that he was going to outscale no matter what he did in laning phase. So that was a lot easier, rather than here in game number 2, you pick Caitlyn to dominate laning phase, much different to how you play Jinx, and you're going against Kai'Sa, and I do believe Caitlyn wins against Kai'Sa, especially early on, because Kai'Sa plays exactly like Jinx does. She doesn't want to go in laning phase, she just wants to play for team fights, but with the Leona, it is still very hard to engage and mostly just playing back, which, again, not really what Caitlyn wants to do. She wants to go in, so it is a little bit counterintuitive there in the bot lane matchup.
Yep, I can wholeheartedly agree with that, especially because, Caitlyn, we micro game nerds up here on the desk. Caitlyn does have by default a much longer, not much longer, but
Yes.
I think the longest auto attack range out of all the marksmen, or at least
Yes.
tied with maybe some others. And Kai'Sa, by contrast, has a shorter auto attack range among the marksmen. So we'll have to see if Caitlyn can fully bully Kai'Sa out of that lane early in the game. To see how things go, we have Azir in the mid lane scaling for the side of BDED. Yes, BDED. They're on blue side this time. Kale doing the same job on the side of 2077. Hope to see how things turn out. Hopefully, we can get the full 5v5 for the full game this time. I'm excited to see it. I'm sure you all are as well. Dear audience, we'll get right back to you after this short break to bring you game 2 of this best of 3 series between Shogun 2077 and the Big Duck Entourage Druids.
Clouds move closer, burnt with the deepest red. Oh, beneath them we look on. When they part comes the hatred they bring. Lost in the dark, we've come so far. Another step to rid the pain. Go and be counted till your last day. 'Cause only nightmares break their face. So stand upon these fallen lands and follow in our Father's plans. Yeah, until the end we will remain, and we'll hold on until our last breath. So what is to be left for us? My people look on and say,
Welcome back to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. It is game 2 of the best of 3 between Shogun 2077 and Big Duck Entourage Druids here in the Freshman League of Runeterra Academy. It's week 2.
An absolute
Yeah.
Amumu clinic in game 1. I mean, he was playing about as perfectly as you could when you had such an poor early game clear just due to being constantly invaded by Tafiki and the rest of the Shogun squad. But here in game 2, hopefully it doesn't come down to the top side vertical jungle with the bot side win con, as once again, it is a slightly less of a bot side win con here for both teams, much more in the mid lane, as either one of these champions, the Azir or the Akali, could absolutely just snowball out of this game and through the roof.
Yep. And I would not be surprised at all if jungle has a big part to play in which mid laner is able to do that. I can see, I think you can tell that we are not in professional gameplay because we not see a comment Azir, which I guess is what they do for some reason. I'm like, Azir attack fast, must go lethal tempo. So we are going to see that. Press the attack on Tafiki Jr. there in the jungle and on Leper Koopa as well. Now, I have witnessed firsthand the amount of burst damage that can afford champions like this Volibear. So I would say Nacho Scuttle needs to be careful if Leper Koopa can, like I said, cheese those early trades. Quick EQW combo. There's going to be a lot of health missing.
Yeah, I think they take comment on Azir because he does mostly have AP scaling. Yes, he has a little bit on attack speed with the W, but it is mostly AP, very similar to that of a Shyvana or, of course, Kale.
There it is!
Outlane.
Look at that damage! Flash Force out of Nacho Scuttle. And Leper Koopa pressed the attack with that trade.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate level 2 power of a Kale. Forced the flash away just from the sheer presence of a Volibear. I mean, you see him running at you, you see him land the stun on you, and you're just like, man, I gotta flash away. If he does that again in another 5 seconds, I'm just gonna die. And you see that he is falling down in CS here a little bit, which is better than giving it kill, but Tafiki roams up here.
Yep, Tafiki's heading up. Nacho Scuttle is brought low. Leper Koopa trying to stay on top, but might just get batted down by Tafiki. There's a slow coming out from the chomp, and first blood over to Tafiki Jr. for Shogun 2077.
Yeah, that was about as best as BDE could have played that first blood. Is Nacho Scuttle unfortunately was not the one able to pick up the first blood kill for himself, but still getting a lot of gold in his pocket with an assist early on. But Asol,
Is that, are we watching the Cloud9 Blabber just take over for Church of Asol here? That's gonna be Church of Asol falling. Fishing Diff will find the kill onto Tafiki, backed up by his own top laner Leper Koopa. That's a flash fail Scuttle take. We've all seen that before. Thankfully, it's not on stage this time.
yeah, thankfully, Tafiki, he wanted the Scuttle. He did get the Scuttle. He just unfortunately died for it as well. Still, unfortunately, not a kill over to Nacho Scuttle, but still top bot lane here.
Yep, bot lane's gonna be Xenoblade landing. Ignite taking away. Those concussive strikes have been stacked, but not fully procced yet. Now they will onto both members at the same time. Rednick with a beautiful ace in the, not ace in the hole, pilt over Peacemaker. I Hate People gets the kill onto Tem, keeping his own ADC alive. The bot lane is wiped for the side of BDED, and Shogun 2077 off to a strong start.
Yeah, finally the bot lane here for the side of Shogun showing up here. Rednick, he picked the lane dominant AD carry this time. He is finally doing the lane domination for himself, finding himself not quite a double kill, but still getting 1 kill on yourself and your support. Very strong for this early game as mid lane here. Level 5 on the Akali will hit level 6 first on her, of course, but still a little bit while away to hitting that spike from now.
And of note, something I didn't really notice until just now, Choppa Melodies has foregone Flash in favor of Ignite Teleport. So this is full kill pressure both in your own lane and other lanes. assuming we'll be falling back on that smoke screen should things get out of hand.
Yeah, and this is going to be the first dragon going over to Shogun. Once again, we saw this in game 1. They have excellent early game dragon control, and this time it wasn't even soloed by Tafiki. He lost a lot of time on his clear for it soloing it game 1, and now game 2 he brought 4 members down to help him with it, taking it down very quickly and not missing much CS whatsoever. Yes, he's down a camp right now, but in a few seconds, he's going to be back up and running very solidly on this jungle.
Yep, already has the phase completed. Most likely going to the Divine Sunderer route we saw from the first game. Makes complete sense going up against this team comp out from BDED. CS, there's a 10 CS advantage in favor of the Kaisa somehow down in the bot lane. It's not exactly what we expected, but Rednick is currently sitting at a gold advantage with that kill and assist under their own belt. So I have to see if Rednick can press the advantage there and try to, you know, complete the task of all Caitlyn's in bullying the ADC out in the early game.
Man, I was gonna say, like, press the attack with press an advantage, like that kind of pun, but then I realized she doesn't have PTA, which, I mean, it would be kind of troll to have PTA on a Caitlyn, but if she did have a PTA, that would have been a beautiful moment. Would have been so funny, but yeah, now you do see Caitlyn just immediately back up in CS. She had a large wave crash on her tower, nicely able to pick up most of the minions, so back up ahead in CS now. She gets to crash her own wave and potentially have a roam timer here for her Braum.
Yep, Lee Roma making presence known on the field as Tem made their way all the way up toward top lane brush and got absolutely nothing to show for it. So this will be a free plate going over to Rednick on that Caitlyn. But now Tem is hanging out in the mid lane. Willow and Church of Aesol maybe looking to get their Azir snowballing, but it looks like Choppa Melody has gotten wind of this downriver. Let's make their way back underneath the tower. Now Tafiki is trying to secure this Scuttle Crab. The smite will land. There's R coming out from Kale. Sorry. In comes Church of Aesol with the bandage toss. Out comes the Storm Caller from Leper Koopa. It's a squish-squash like a Goomba. Tafiki Jr. going down. Now to Scuttle getting away with the help of that minion bandage toss will not land. Now there's a kill up there in the top side for the side of BDED.
Yeah, and once again, it did go over to Tafiki. Unfortunate, it's not Nacho Scuttle, but still getting anything onto your jungler, playing so well in game 1, now game 2. Very nice up there in the top lane. Hopefully we'll start getting gold on the Kale, of course. Would be very helpful for her to get some nice early gold. Being down in CS as well, but that's just because of the nature of the melee versus melee matchup. Now it is going to be slightly ranged versus melee matchup. So a little bit more Kale favored. Once she does hit that level 11 power spike, it is going to be much more Kale favored.
So I think what happened there, as you can see, Rednick is abusing trap placement with the help of the turret. Prevailed, I'm assuming, did not notice it was placed down, and we can see these free headshots coming in as they simply step forward, but step in those traps. They peek you down here in the bot lane. Will Tem get wind of this? Out comes the pillar, and the slow flash forward out from the Leona. Trap will not land. It's a summoner blown down there in the bot lane for the side of BDED.
Yeah, that is a very important summoner as well, especially since Tem did not elect to take that Hex Flash. So losing your flash, especially before you hit that level 6 power spike on a Leona, where you want to flash and all in the second you hit level 6 on Leona. Now, you're not able to do that, and you're not able to do that in the lane that you have already been losing of 2v2s.
Rednick has taken nearly 4 plates so far down here in the bot lane. I think that's simply off the back of punishing the support roam coming out from the side of BDED. Prevail cannot step forward unless they have a death wish. It looks like this will be the 4th plate being taken. There it is. Gold. Uh-oh. Out comes Fair. Lots of stun going in. Out comes. Woo-wee! Full wombo combo down in the bot lane for the side of BDED. I hate people will fall as well. A double kill going over to Prevail. I was also have to talk about gold difference, but has very quickly gone down from a 800 gold diff to 150.
Yeah, 150 150. That is what, 2 paint cords, 1 paint cord? That is absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Huge comeback there for the bot lane of BDE. Absolutely massive now. You've got one of your scaling picks 2-1 with that 150 shutdown on their head as well. Now you've got to get maybe a little bit more gold onto either Prevail or just a lot more gold onto Fishing Diff, who was already a little bit ahead over Melodies with the solo kill in his pocket. And now we have BDE looking to take the first dragon for themselves, but Tim looking for an engage.
Maxed range, Zenith Blade will land. Prevail coming in. Redneck trying to work their way through, try to join this fight. Concussive blows will be procced, but it's a 4v2. No help quite yet from the side of Shogun 2077. Tem is low. Chopping Melodies with ultimate ready to go. Blue team will slay the dragon. It's going to be Shogun taking it. Azir will hit the Shurima Shuffle, but it only gets I Hate People. There's ult coming out. Perfect execution onto Prevail. It's enough to find the kill. Fishing Diff doing their best to try to swing this fight around. Church Acel brought very low. Flash Force out from I Hate People. 1v1 ADC versus mid laner. Concussive blows will land. Out comes the Piltover Peacemaker. Ace in the hole. I love that skin. It's a kill for Red Nick. The dragon going over to the side of, I believe that was Shogun to take it, however. KOR says, yeah, KOR says no damage. Tafiki, you get to secure that kill. And we once again find ourselves in a 9-5 scoreline favoring red side. But remember, sides will switch now. So it's Shogun 2077 up this time.
Yeah, Shogun finding a little bit lead once again through that team fight. Not able to secure the dragon for themselves, but still securing so many kills. You finally got a few kills onto Melodies in the mid lane. Redneck picking up 1 or 2 for himself in the bot lane, as well securing that top and the bot lane tower before plates even fall. 10 plates into the pockets of Shogun. That is also a large contributor to their pretty massive gold lead after that fight, almost nearing 10,000 gold in the favor of Shogun. This is not the leads that we saw last game. Last game, it never left 1,000 up until the disconnect in mid lane.
Yep. But now we see. Okay, there's vision up there. They're not gonna get out by 10, but yeah. The side of Shogun, and the shoe is on the other foot entirely. Dragons are split now. We're seeing Shogun set up. No, sorry, BDED now showing some set up for these Drakes as they take them. Kill scoreline in favor of Shogun. And the first mythic of the game will be the Gale Force completed on Rednick. And I think Rednick is really going to be able to take the reins in this game and swing these team fights whichever direction he wants, as long as the rest of the team can provide space for him.
Yeah, this is what Redneck was hoping for last game. Last game, his KDA was the opposite of what it is right now. He was 1-3 coming out of laning phase. Now he's sitting very pretty 3-1, has a nice 10 CS gold lead, and like you're saying, first mythic on the map for himself as well, but now it's support.
I hate people getting caught way out behind enemy lines. They're trying to get some vision, I believe. We'll pay the ultimate price for it. You know, it's going to be Redneck all alone in the mid lane, thankfully not stepping too far forward. And Tafika will join them. Looks like mid prio not really vital at the moment, with the next dragon coming still in just over 2 minutes. Next Rift Herald in about 3.5. Looks like it's just a farming game for the time being, in which most lanes are generally even, except for the top lane. Oh, even then, it's only 10.
Oh, but there's a scuttle fight.
Yep, Leopard Boot's gonna get caught out. Tem steps forward. There's a stun onto Tafiki. Tafiki trying to get away. A beautiful solar flare will catch up. Nacho Scuttle in the meantime. Does have ultimate ready to go. Streamer Shuffle will miss. It's gonna be Leopard trying to stay on top of Red Nick. You know, in the back line, in comes I Hate People to try to provide some support. But there's a Mumu QR combo locking them up, letting Church of Acel secure the kill. I Hate People just going to get slowly ticked away by that damage over time. It's going to be kills all across the map in favor of BDED. Tafiki now the last alive. No, actually, Nacho Scuttle is still alive up there in the top lane trying to recall. Tafiki's not going to have the same fortune as Church of Acel is going to secure the kill. And it's 4 kills unanswered for the side of BDED.
Yeah, the gold lead is slowly closing. BDE making the comeback that they needed, getting lots of kills into the pocket of Church of Acel as well as Prevail, which if you wanted kills into members on the side of BDE, it would definitely be Prevail and Fishing Diff, but still getting them on a Mumu, who can, of course, still build the beautiful item that is the item that I forgot the name of now, but the one that I said last game.
Which one? A movie?
The magic.
Abyssal Mask.
Yes, that one.
Yes.
That one. The secret OP item for Mumu. If he builds that and then Fishing Disc starts getting gold into his pocket, this is here. He's gonna get very scary very quickly, and you're not gonna realize why up until you look at Amumu's items.
Oh boy, I hate people getting caught out front once again. I believe this is the long con. Oh. You hate to see that. I think that the only reason that things have swung so far was because I Hate People was caught out in front. That left Rednick in that fight all alone with no one to peel for them, with the volley and the Mumu trying to get on top of you, to make things very difficult. TP is being channeled. That will be Leper Koopa joining the fight in the back line. In the meantime, in the front line, with Tafiki very quickly taking down Tem, it's going to be Leper Koopa trying to stay on top of the back line. Rednick will stay alive at the cost of their support's life. Perfect execution out from Champa, not enough to secure the kill. Nacho Scuttle is low. Fishing Dip trying to stay on top. A double kill for Leper Koopa. The bear is running wild, but not for long. In comes the Hunter with the rifle. Church of Aesol, Shuriman Shuffle. It's a 2 versus 1 now in the fight. Looks like Fishing Dip will get the worst end of the stick. And that was a very close fight, will result in nobody being in any sort of state to try to take the dragon. Of course, as I say that, Tafiki Jr. will start the dragon to prove me wrong. And at the end of the day, it will be Shogun coming out on top of a costly team fight.
Yeah, it was a very back and forth team fight. You really had no idea who was going to win it up until the very end. And both of these members trying to take the dragon at such low HP does make me a little bit nervous, but I'm glad that they are able to secure it for themselves. Now it is going to be Shogun 2-1 up in dragons, probably the most important objective of this game at this point, especially considering they have already taken both of the outer towers in the top and bottom lanes. So now securing dragons on top of that as well does feel very well going into this mid game here. Still holding on to mid tower very strong though for BTE.
Yep. And I want to see. Okay, here's my issue currently with the way Shogun is playing. Like I said, I think the only reason that they lost that fight up there in top jungle is that I Hate People was picked early and Redneck had to try to defend for themselves. We almost see I Hate People get picked off again here. So I would love to see him tone things down, play as a team for these objective setups. And, you know, we saw them come out on top in the team fight. I think that has very high odds of being the tail of the rest of this game, as in TALE, if they can play as a unit as opposed to having your support overextend for vision.
Yeah, supports overextending for vision. I mean, name a better combo in these tournaments. That's what I do. I'm the master at that in my own gold tournaments, and here it's the same exact mission, right? You go for that vision. You're told I'm the support. I'm gonna get wards on the map, right? Well, you can put wards on the map, but if they see a champion, and more importantly, if they see a champion and you're still trying to get the ward down, then your body becomes the ward, and if they kill the ward, then they get even more gold than if it was just a ward placed on the map, and it just goes down real quickly from that point.
Yep. Speaking of things going down real quickly, I do want to turn our attention to Nacho Scuttle on the Kale, who has all in all been able to very quietly get themselves to level 11, and they completed Gnasher's Tooth and Zerk Greaves. Second Herald has been taken by the side of Shogun 2077. And at this point, I think that team fights are going to be very difficult for the side of BDED. You have the Caitlyn, who is ahead. You have a Kale, who, I mean, I don't really remember seeing the side of BDED focusing the Kale at all. We saw Nacho Scuttle maybe have close to a heart attack at level 2. Forced to flash away from Leper Koopa's a very quick trade there. But we haven't really seen much attention up there at all coming up from either side. And I think that may be something BDED will very quickly come to regret.
Yeah, you have a lot of gold and a lot of kills on this Volibear up here. He's been getting kills against Nacho Scuttle, and as I'm saying that, he's been taken on real low by him.
He's coming in for a Q. There's a flash to stay. Oh, I don't think that flash was necessary.
It's respect. It was respect flash. I respect
flashbacks to level 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nacho Scuttle there, he felt once again just the fear of the presence of a Volibear. He's sitting 1.5 items. He's got heal cut in his pocket there, and you know, if you just keep autoing him, especially not having a kill in your own quite yet, yes, you're even in CS, but not quite even on the KDA amount of gold for yourself.
Yep. Another thing that's kind of thrown me off. Choppa Melodies has been sitting on a Sheen and 2 needlessly large rods for a little bit now. Is that Death Cap first?
Yes, I think that might
Oh.
actually be a death cap first item for Melodies. I don't know what Sheen is going to build into with 2 of the needlessly
Nothing.
large rods, but maybe he's just got something planned up his sleeve. He's going death cap, but he's got a Sheen in his pocket for a Lich Bane afterwards. So we just can't understand the Sakali, man. Like he has got some big brain up in there.
Okay, here's something that's I actually need cleared up. Death Cap. So I know what is it? It's 120 ability power, and then it gives you plus 40%, right? Now, is it plus 40% as soon as you buy it, you get that increase, or is it like as much ability as you have, you will always get 40% more?
I think it is just always 40% more than you would have.
Okay.
I don't think it's on purchase. That would be pretty strange if it was on purchase, especially if you do build it first like this, because 40% more than like your base is pretty rough.
Yeah. All right, we're seeing objectives set up from the side of BDED around this dragon. Choppa Melodies is up there in the top lane. A bandit toss. Well, Red Nick is forced to flash away as Leopard Koopa walks their way down from the top lane. But a beautiful kite coming from Red Nick with the assistance of the flash. First Ace will go forward. There's a flash of bandage toss, and the Curse of Sad Mummy Nacho Scoto has are ready to go to stay alive. Church Ace will fall very quickly. Red Nick with free reign back in the back line, chipping away with that rifle. It's the story of the bot lane here for the side of Shogun 2077. A double kill, a triple kill, a quadra kill for Red Nick on the Caitlyn. And
Man,
good engage. A good attempted engage at the very beginning coming out from Leopard Koopa onto Red Nick, but it doesn't work out. A nice engage from Church Asol, but nobody focused Red Nick for the entire rest of the fight, and that was their downfall.
Red Nick has been on point with his positioning this entire series. You saw it game 1 a little bit at the end with the drinks, and now game 2, picking up a quadra kill on a Caitlyn, now sitting 9-3-4, 2 completed items. That is the only member with 2 completed items, of course, other than Tafiki, who has gotten a lot of gold up there in the top lane from Nacho Scuttle, but still absolutely huge on this Caitlyn. Pretty big CS lead for himself as well over most of the laners on BDE, and if you're not focusing down this Caitlyn, he is just going to headshot and destroy your backline. At this point now, they do realize this. They're like, wait, he just a quadra kill, guys. Maybe he is a little bit scary on this Caitlyn. This is why we banned Caitlyn game 1, but apparently not in game 2, as we get to see the Caitlyn show played very strongly here by Red Nick.
Yep, it's like that was a Caitlyn quadra kill against 3 tanks without Kraken Slayer. And I mentioned in Champ Select how the side of BDED, I would have loved a mid laner with more kind of backline assassination potential, and this is why, because a Caitlyn does not have the greatest survivability as an ADC on their own, and so you know, I would have liked to see. Granted, I don't know what sort of assassin would really fit into the meta nowadays. And it's going to be Red Nick staying on top of Leopard Koopa with the help of I Hate People. An easy kill, more money in the back pocket for the Caitlyn. As you might see Rumble in the Jungle start up here. Zenith Blade will not land, but the bandage does. There's a nice double ultimate coming out from Church of Asol. Killer Instinct into the backline is Prevail, trying to stay on top of Choppa Melodies. Choppa Melodies has yet to die. Tafiki is going to get away, and there's absolutely nothing coming through from this investment for the side of BDED. Bandage toss will land. They might be able to finish out Tafiki, but he flashes away to the safety of his turret.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad for BDE. They could have had the 2v4 double kill in their pocket. They need gold in Fishing Gift. They need gold in Prevail. And now they let 2 kills escape. Not neither one of them having a shutdown on their head, but still, that would have been 600 gold into their entire team's wallet and could have definitely turned this game around. But now you've got 3 dragons still on the side of Shogun, 1 dragon away, spawning in just 2 minutes and 30 seconds here for them if they want to pick up that Ocean Soul, which again, such a strong soul. It's not the Mountain Soul that we saw in game 1, but I would
Yep.
definitely say Ocean Soul is up there for being very strong.
Okay. Deathcap first item, and now you're sitting on 2 daggers. What is going on? What is Chopper
I
building?
I'm pretty sure it's a Lichbane second item. I
Lichbane
don't
doesn't have
know.
daggers in their build, right?
Well then, I thought it did. So then
No,
I have no
Lichbane
idea.
is Ether Wisp, Sheen, and an Amplifying Tome.
It's okay. Again, Melodies, he's got the big brain on this build. He's going to propose this build to Nemesis in the comment section of his next YouTube video. You already know he's going to write about it in great detail why daggers and Deathcap first item on Akali is the correct build. Also, I don't think we've mentioned this quite yet, but he doesn't have flash on there either, as we've got an engage up on the top lane.
Yep, it's gonna be Lepa Koopa trying to get caught out front by the side of Shogun. Rednick is locked up by Curse of the Sad Mummy, but there's 0 follow-up into the backline to try to keep him suppressed. And it's 2 quick kills for the side of Shogun in BDED's own topside jungle. And they maybe turn their eyes to Baron right on the back of that.
Right on the back of that Baron, potentially an Ocean Soul into the pocket
Oh,
of Shogun
goodness.
as well. It is so rough for BD at this point, sitting 6,000 gold down currently at just 26 minutes into the game. That is definitely more than enough to call it a gold lead. Rednick 11, 3, and 4 on this Caitlyn. 700 gold shutdown on his head if it is able to be picked up. And if it does get picked up by anyone other than Prevail or Fishing Diff on BTE, it's gonna make this late game so much harder for them.
Yep. And I want to say this is not only testament to how well Rednick can play this champion, but it most certainly has something to do with the fact that the entirety of Shogun know how to play around this champion. You know, great. Now I'm retreading old ground again. You know, haha, lol W, BDED has no backline assassination. Okay, but still, they have, like we said, this wombo combo, a killer instinct on the Kaisa, the ability to get back there, but no one really to shut somebody down very quickly back there. But still, the entirety of Shogun is able to play around Rennick so well. Look how low Leper Koopa already is. Church of Ace's bandage toss will miss, has to flash forward to try to land the ultimate, and the will, a solar flare. Rednick is still locked up, but it doesn't matter. They don't need him. They're still taking this fight, and it will be early graves for 3 members so far. Make that 4. A BDED Prevail, the last one standing. Thankfully, that Azir Tower will buy some space and time. Life is retained for Prevail on the Kaisa, but the entirety of Shogun can now just turn their eyes to turrets and this dragon.
Yeah, you have 2 members up here split pushing in the top lane. I think they both TP'd up here as well. So you have the Baron, you have the Ocean Soul on all 5 members of your team of Shogun, and now it's just a case of ending the game. You only have 2 Nexus turrets standing in front of you, and the victory of the series 2-0 up against Big Duck Entourage.
Yep. Shogun have already taken down top inhibitor. Mid inhibitor follows in quick succession. Baron up, minions making their way down. No super minions quite yet as they turn their attention down to the bot lane. Church of Aso goes into the back line once again, but once again, there's no follow-up. No ultimate coming out from him either. Out comes a KO ultimate to keep I Hate People alive. It's a massacre.
Oh,
That's
man.
5 dead in under 15 seconds. A quadra kill for Tafiki Jr. on that Trundle. He's not just a tank, he's a damage dealer. First Nexus turret falls, second follows. Nexus open, Nexus going down, Nexus blowing up. And it's a 2-0 sweep tonight for the side of Shogun 2077.
I don't think this is how anyone expected this series to play out.
Yeah.
Game 1 BDE were looking so strong, especially in the early game there. Church of Aesol again, putting on an absolute Amumu clinic, especially in game one, the constant stacking on the Dark Shield and then losing and then circling back around and getting even more stacks and losing even more stacks. It was absolutely amazing to watch. And then game two was just unfortunate that there was not nearly enough gold to spread across the team to try and make a comeback after Rednick got a very early, I think it was either a double kill or a triple kill on the Caitlyn. You can see the damage graphs there.
Yep.
I mean, Fishing Diff, he tried very hard on the Zero. It was just unfortunate that a lot of that damage on the damage graph was mostly due to poking because he's playing against Tafiki and Melodies in his mid lane. He might as well be playing a 1v2 there. And as much as you're able to poke, if you're not able to finish off the kill, you're not going to have as much gold in your pocket. And the final build on Melodies was the completed death cap into recurve bow into Sheen, and you got an amplifying tome on the side there. So again, not too sure what that builds into. It's just too high caliber for us to understand.
Well, throwback to Faker's Lethal Tempo Akali that one time.
Yes.
This does look like maybe a Nasher somehow. Somehow maybe try to keep up with an Azir in auto attacking, uh, which I don't think is going to be the case most often when you're the Akali. But doesn't matter when you have a 13-3 and 10 Caitlyn down in your bot lane. You can basically build whatever you want. So, GG's to both teams. Big shout outs to Shogun for taking that 2-0 sweep. What seemed like against the odds in the early game, early game one. But game two, I would say they certainly showed a dominant performance. Yeah, congrats to Redneck. He played very well. You saw him in the chat being very angry that he was unable to get the penta at
It's
that
unfortunate.
the dragon fight. It happens. It really do be like that. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us here tonight. This was the freshman week 2 match between Shogun 2077 and Big Duck Entourage Druids. Shogun 2077 sweeping it 2-0 on the back of a disconnect in game one, unfortunately. Be sure to join us tomorrow at the same place, twitch.tv/Runeterra Academy for the Sophomore League, which will you be catching that tomorrow night, Camcom?
I will be. You will catch
Oh,
me here again tomorrow night. Tonight I was color casting. Tomorrow you'll catch me on play by play. So flipping it up there for tomorrow. Very exciting.
yeah. Okay. I want to do. I always almost forget to include this. A big shout out to our League of Legends director PVS for bringing things together, and our producer Wookie Monster. He was behind the scenes on the keyboard tonight, making sure everything fell into place to let us casters. Never mind, just got confirmed from our producer that was not the case. Okay, thank you, PVS. Um, and thank you, of course, to our headmaster Red, the top dog in all of this, bringing you all the action indirectly tonight. Yeah, he's always doing a lot behind the scenes. The stat man himself. Once again, I'm Tajigar, Taj for short, joined tonight by the amazing Cam Com, or Cam for short. And I suppose, like I promised earlier, Camcom, I'll give you the outro.
Oh, thank you very much. That was the end of game two, the end of the series here for week two of Freshman League. Next week, hopefully, we have an even more exciting matchup here for you. Same time, same stream, same place. We'll catch you back here tomorrow, of course, Sophomore League. You will see me on that stream. We will see you back here 8 p.m. EST tomorrow. Don't make sure you come back here. We will have very exciting games.
All right. Yeah. Good night, everyone.